Welcome back, everybody. If you're joining me for the first time, my name is Chris Lee, and I am one of the co-founders here at Carve, the app that aligns capacity planning and sales efforts. Now, in this segment, we're going to be taking a closer look at the resourcing control screen and dashboard. It's here where you're going to drill into resourcing forecasts and figure out where your bottlenecks are and how you're going to execute that impending sales pipeline. So let's dive right in. Okay, let's start by just talking about the basic anatomy of this screen. So on the top, we have the classic Carve aggregate chart. It's showing you what the sum of all of your individual resources look like when rolled up into their respective roles. But let's stay at the top for now and we'll look at the resources later. So on the screen, we have the yellow horizontal line, which represents overall capacity. When you are up against that line, you're at 100% utilization. And when you're under that line, you're going to have a famine period. Now, the other thing that's extremely important about this aggregate is how we're weighting this chart. So this gray is taking a concept from the sales pipeline terminology. This is showing you what would happen if you had a 100% close rate. And what Carve is doing is Carve is weighting that sales pipeline to show your resourcing team what the most likely scenario is. In other words, what should they plan on happening? They don't want to plan for 100% close rate because your sales guys aren't that good. And they don't want to plan for just the projects that are booked, which would be somewhere down here. They want to plan for that likely scenario. That's the secret sauce. Now, the other thing we can do up here is we can look at these tooltips. And these tooltips are showing us the breakdown of work across all of the roles. So, as you can see, we can immediately jump and see what the utilization are per each role and figure out who is under or overutilized. And as you can see, this organization seems perpetually overutilized in front-end development and their strategy teams, which probably suggests they should be thinking about expanding those teams or at least finding additional freelancers. Now, as with all of these aggregate charts, these individual roles are also filters. So I can click directly on them and see all of that information. So let's take a look here at the front-end development and figure out why are they so overbooked. All right, great. So now we are filtered by only blue, and we can see all of our resources that wear this blue front-end development hat. And I do want to point out over here, if you look at James, he has the green square right there. That means he can also wear the green hat. He is a multi-skilled employee. And his capacity reflects that he splits time between the two. But now that you're on the screen, what you're going to do here is you're going to start looking at each person who fills this role and compare how well they're utilized. And as we're looking here, George is fairly well underutilized relative to James. And this screen allows you to fix that very, very quickly. And as with all Carve dashboards, to fix the problem, all you need to do is grab this assignment, drag it and drop it, and basically we're just going to put it right there. And as you can see, now that is George's assignment with just that simple drag. Now, but let's keep moving and let's see what that looks like for George. Because if I were to click through, these are now all George's assignments. I'm looking just at George, and I'm looking just at how George is being utilized against his capacity. And the other thing about this screen is these are all drag and drop, which basically means you can use it as a prioritization tool. So row 1 being the most high priority assignment for George to work on. George can log into Carve, look at this screen, and figure out what should he be working on for the week when he gets in on Monday. But let's keep moving and let's take a look at some more of the filters. Now, in this top right there, that is a multi-filter, that's autofill. But what that's going to allow you to do is build filters that show you just projects for a certain client. They're going to allow you to filter based on being on a certain team. And you can put all of those filters together to get more complicated, get more precise. And then above my head, these are our quick filters. You can see which assignments are for booked or unbooked projects and which assignments have been assigned or unassigned. And the one thing I do want to show you with these quick filters is what we call the oh shit filter, which many will be familiar with. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at projects that are booked, they have a contract, and we're going to see if we have any unassigned tasks. And as you can see, oh my gosh, we absolutely do. Now again, if we look up here, these are unassigned and they're also booked, which means in the case of this green assignment for Joe's Flower Shop, we have 1 week to find someone to do that project. Now, if we had been a little bit more proactive, we would have noticed that a lot earlier on and got somebody on that sooner. Basically, what you want to see is if you turn on the oh shit filter, nothing should be in here, at least not in the next 4-week window. But on occasion it does, because you get a last minute request. But luckily, Carve was built to help you avoid that by being a little bit more proactive. So that's a high level of the resources screen. Lots to do in here. If you have any specific questions that I did not cover, feel free to get in touch. I'm happy to talk on the phone and we can set up a Google Hangouts. With that, my name is Chris Lee, co-founder of Carve, the app that aligns capacity planning with sales efforts. Stay tuned.